Welcome to Domino One. I'm your host, Smith Paul. Thank you for watching the channel. And today we're going to talk about forgiveness. Yes, forgiveness. Don't worry, you didn't accidentally stumble upon a sermon and I'm a pastor. I'm about to give you a whole sermon about forgiveness. However, though, I will be using a few Bible verses to make my point. But for this topic, which I'm very excited about because I've been wanting to talk about forgiveness for a while. On this channel, every time I talk about sexual abuse and I talk about how prevalent it is and how to get over it, I've written my book on how to get over sexual abuse and how to move, how to live your life afterwards. And I always say forgiveness is such a huge aspect of the whole thing. And sometimes people would comment back, which I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the ones that will be coming after this video as well. People will comment about, oh, forgiveness. I sure am not going to forgive anybody. I'm sure I'm not going to forgive him or her because of what he did. This is who I am right now. This is, in life, we have so many excuses. We have so many reasons as to why we don't do certain things or as to why we do certain things. However, forgiveness is, spiritually speaking, if you're a Christian, it's a non-negotiable. At least that's the way I interpret the Bible when it comes to forgiveness. But a lot of those people are not Christians. So they don't have a faith in God that tells you that you're supposed to forgive just like Jesus has forgiven you. So how do you bridge the gap? Well, there is a way to bridge the gap, which is what this video is about. And I'm going to tell you why you should forgive, why forgiveness is important to you, for you, even though you're not a Christian. How would you like to make a difference today? Well, with the price of a cup of coffee, you can help me send kids to school in Haiti, my hometown, Cap Haitian. Gandhi once said, if you want to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others. Now head on over to smithpaul.com and see how you can help me make those dreams a reality. Thank you. So first, I'd like to start with this. So when we talk about forgiveness, what do people really think about when they think about forgiveness? Well, they think most people, they reject forgiveness for those reasons because they feel like if I forgive, then what happened was okay. If I forgive, I have to let them back in my life. If I forgive, I have to trust them again. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to do any of those things. And forgiveness is not something that is attached to any of those things that I just mentioned, right? But first, let me describe to you what forgiveness is. Since we're talking about forgiveness, so let me describe it to you so that we are on the same playing field, right? Forgiveness is releasing your right to revenge and choosing not to carry the poison of what was done to you. Again, forgiveness is releasing your right to revenge and choosing not to carry the poison of what was done to you. So that is forgiveness. So far, hopefully you're with me, right? And again, this video is about gapping forgiveness, spiritually speaking, and let's just say forgiveness in the mainstream, in the secular world, for somebody who's not a believer. And I'm making the point that it is equally important whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian. And I'll show you why it's important if you are in the secular world, right? If you're in a secular world, you say, hey, listen, man, like all that mumbo jumbo about forgiveness, I'm not going to forgive. None of that, turn the other cheek. It's an eye for an eye for me. He did this to me. I got to do this back to him. She did this to me. I got to do this back to her because, we got to get even. That's the world we live in. So that's just what it is. Good excuse. At least you can rationalize that. You can make it make sense, right? Somebody did something to you, justice, all that. I'm not against justice. I'm not against getting even in a certain way. But yet we're still talking about forgiveness. So how does that relate? When we're talking about the secular world, as far as somebody who's not a Christian, how do you view forgiveness? And not just viewing it, what is the reason why you should forgive, right? And I'm going to tell you that, and then we're going to go over and talk about the reason you should forgive as a Christian. So I figured I would start with that to get your attention a little bit, right? So when you talk about forgiveness, well, there's a whole psychological aspect of it, which is where we're going to anchor ourselves to for me to make it make sense to you as to why you should forgive. So let me tell you what unforgiveness can cause. And then by default, you will know if it causes those things, then forgiving won't cause those things, right? So when you don't forgive, psychologically speaking, it will create chronic stress, anxiety and depression, hypervigilance, you know, always on the edge. You can never relax because, you have this thing tugging at you. You have this burden, difficulty trusting anyone. So let's take an example. If you were abused, let's just say you were female, you're a woman, you're a girl, you were abused by a male figure in your life. Let's just say they were within your circle of trust, a family member. It's going to be almost impossible for you to trust not only that person, well, you won't be able to trust that person, but anybody that resembles him, anybody that you kind of feel like could cause the same pain, you're never going to forgive them and you're never going to trust them. Now, you're going to look at them again, that hypervigilance, not that it's not important. You got to be smart. You got to make the right decision, understand who's in your environment, who's in your corner, who's around you, and you got to be safe. But there is being safe and cautious, and there is hypervigilance when you're always on the edge. You're always on the edge. Why? Because of something that happened to you. You've never gotten over it. You've never gotten that closure, that forgiveness, that relinquish, that giving it away so that you're not suffering with chronic stress, anxiety, depression, hypervigilance. You can trust again. So those are the things that unforgiveness will cause you. So your brain stays always in this threat mode. Every time you think about that person, every time you think about that scenario, you kind of default into that, right? Keep in mind, while you're doing all that, all this jujitsu in your mind, how much you can't believe that happened, how much you will never forgive, how much hatred and just pure evil that you like resentment that's in your heart right now because of that person, because that name just popped up, because of what they did to you, because you never forgive them. You never relieved yourself. Then, your heart's going to be just stuck in this threat mode, right? Every time. And that person has a hold on you, big time. Now, your body doesn't know the difference between what happened then and what you keep replaying now, which is what I just said. So when you don't forgive, it's literally you saying that, you know what, I know this happened and I can justify it. I have a reason to feel the way that I feel. I have a reason to hate that person. I have a reason to want justice. I have a reason for all of it. After all, you are the victim, meaning it did happen to you. But again, forgiveness is not for them. That's the one part. Again, every time somebody would comment, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube or within my group of people, sometimes that comment still comes up. I don't want to forgive them. They don't deserve it. Now we need to detach that. Who is deserving of forgiveness and who isn't? And who does forgiveness help? Now, again, we're still speaking in this secular world. If we talk about unforgiveness causing stress, unforgiveness causing anxiety and depression, unforgiveness causing hypervigilance, who exactly is it hurting at the moment? Is it the person that you won't forgive? Or is it you? All those things that I just mentioned there, they're not happening to the perpetrator. Let's just use that word. They're not happening to the perpetrator. While you're not forgiving, all those things are happening to you. You are not able to trust. You have anxiety. You are being hypervigilant. You are depressed. None of those things are happening to the person that did the act to you. So it is very important to understand that forgiveness, first and foremost, is not for the perpetrator. It is for you. Whether you look at it within the mainstream secular lens or you look at it, especially spiritually speaking, in the Christian way, which our Bible very clearly calls us to forgive because Jesus has forgiven us. So forgiveness is for you. Let's establish that. When you don't forgive, here are a few more things. Your past your past still controls you. Your past controls your present. Now think about, let's do a little test. Right now, obviously, we all struggle with that. I am not under any illusion, or I hope you're not under any illusion that I've gotten it all figured out and I never went through hardship. This is why it might be so easy for you to always talk about forgiveness. You don't know what I went through and all that stuff. The same way I talk about a lot of stuff that I go through, but I'm not out here to make myself look like a victim and tell you, oh my gosh, if you know what I really went through. It's not a comparison test. We all have been through things, which is why this episode is so important, because I truly believe 100% we all need this. We all need to forgive. You want to live your true potential? Start with forgiveness. It will open a whole other door that you may not even have known was there. Not even you knew that door was there, but it's locked, or you don't have the key to open it, metaphorically speaking. But it will open a door that you may not even think that was there, because it's the unleashing, it's the unburden, it's the freeing of oneself. When you can forgive somebody, again, it doesn't mean that you have to let them back in your life. You have to forget what they did to you. You have to all of a sudden just like pretend that it never happened. Absolutely not. And later on, we're going to talk about like how forgiveness is not just a one-time thing. For some certain things that may have happened to you, it might take generations. But the thing is, you continue to forgive. The person who hurt you is still influencing your emotions. That's a big one. Who can't relate to that? That's basically what unforgiveness is in a nutshell. When you think about that person, the perpetrator, how do you feel? Does it invoke those emotions? Do you feel anxious? Right? So that's why, again, forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. You need to relieve yourself of that person having such a huge influence on you. You need to live your life. You need to live to your true potential. You need to forgive. You don't get to live in me anymore. So that's the declaration that you're making when you choose to forgive. You don't get to, every time I say that name, my goodness, every time I say her name or his name, I could have been having so much fun. I'm out with my friends. I'm having a good time. I'm with my kids. I'm with my family. I'm with my best friends. We're having such a great time. We're at the beach. You're having the best time of your life. But the moment that name pops up, everything changes. That's unforgiveness. That's unforgiveness, because true forgiveness is the relinquishing of that name that always gets you stirred up, that always gets you like immediately, that always changes your mood, that always changes everything. Again, it's not about what they did to you was okay or it didn't happen, or you have to pretend that it didn't happen. None of that. We have to disconnect all those things, right? We know those things. They are the perpetrators. They did what they did. We can't go back and undo it. There's no reset button. But you can control the present. You can control the future. And again, the way you start doing that, the very first step, forgiveness. What else we got here? Again, when you don't forgive, still on the secular aspect, the mainstream, you can do that little test. Look at your parenting right now and go back, try to subtract whatever it is that did happen to you that you're struggling with forgiveness right now. Try to subtract that. And now look at the people in your life. Look at the relationship, your parenting, your marriage, and look how much more it opens you up to give them, to be with them, to fully devote yourself to them when you forgive. So it affects so many areas of your life. You don't need to be a Christian to forgive. Forgiveness is for everybody. Again, not for everybody to do. Now, we've been talking about the secular aspect of it. Let's go a little bit now towards the spiritual aspect of it, which is the easiest part, but yet the hardest part. I'm not here sitting in front of the camera trying to tell you how easy forgiveness is. I'm struggling with forgiveness the same way you are. For me, because I've reached that level, I'm able to do it maybe a little bit easier than you. Not trying to say I'm holier than thou. I'm struggling with it right now. I know there are a couple people in my life I have to continuously forgive them because of what they did to me. We don't need to talk about that. This is not what this podcast is about. It's not about being a victim. It's about recognizing what needs change. And forgiveness is something that should be changed in everybody's lives. You should look at it and say, this needs to change because I can't reach my potential. I can't be truly happy without this person being removed from my head. Don't let people camp in your head, right? So going to the religious aspect of it, which even if you're not a religious person, you already know what the Bible says. So a few Bible verses that I found that could really, that explains forgiveness and just makes it as clear as day. So forgiveness is obedience, not just a suggestion. That's why I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast that for Christians, my opinion, the way I interpret the Bible, I don't think it's a debatable thing. I don't think it's a choice. Jesus forgive us. We need to forgive one another. Matthew 6, verse 14, 15. Forgive and you will be forgiven. Ephesians 4, 31, 32. Be kind, forgiving one another. Again, it's not optional. We have to do it as Christians. But the whole point of this episode or this podcast was for you to understand that you don't need to be a Christian to forgive. That's why I started off by giving you the point of views of secular or mainstream people who are not really following God the way that I am or the way that Christian people are to make it make sense to you, right? And everything that I just talked about can be applied within a Christian lens or a secular lens. Forgiveness is how you break the generational chains. Oh my goodness, this is really good. This is really good. And this is really, really powerful. Unforgiveness gets passed down through anger, through emotional absence, through repeated patterns. Forgiveness interrupts that cycle. What hurt me stops with me. And I find that very, very important because even if you're not a parent, right? But let's start with a parent. I'm a parent, and a lot of you who are watching right now could be parents as well. When you're a parent, it's such an important job. When you become a parent, right? It didn't come with a manual, and you all know that. You have to figure it out. Figure it out the best way you can. And it's one of those things you don't want to live with regrets. Oh man, I wish I would have parented this way. I wish I would have done this. If I did this, if I had done this, we wouldn't have been here today. If I had done this, bro. It's a lot going on at any given time. You have to provide emotionally, financially, physically, you name it. When you become a parent, whatever had happened in your life before you become a parent or before you get married, before you have a significant other, you need to let go of it. Why? Imagine not having let go of somebody who did you wrong. And every time, again, let's go back to that person camping in your head. Every time that name pops up, I can relate to that, to be honest with you. Every time that name pops up, I could have been having the best time with my kids. I could have been having the best time with my friends. Something changes immediately. Everything I'm talking about now about forgiveness, I'm not only speaking from experience, and I'm again willing to say that there's not one of us that doesn't struggle with unforgiveness. We all struggle with it. We all struggle with it, which is why, again, I've been so excited to talk about it because something is so universal, whether you're Christian or not, whether you're Buddhist, whether you are a Muslim, whatever religion you are, you will struggle with unforgiveness. It's not automatic. Somebody doesn't just say, done something wrong to you. As human beings, we don't necessarily default. We're not wired that way to default into just like forgiveness, forgiveness, ding, just press the button, forgiveness, forgiveness, and then truly forgive. And if you are that way, kudos to you. But life's going to test you. Life's going to test you because somebody might cut you off in traffic. Forgive. It's okay. They don't know. It is what it is. It doesn't bother me. Then somebody comes and then scratch your car and you like this, you love cars and that's your baby. Somebody just keyed it. somebody came and just not only cut you off in line, but you were late for work, and now you're going to be even more late. Your boss is going to yell at you just because that person was inconsiderate and just cut you off. Somebody hurt your loved ones, one of your loved ones, your kids, your husband. So there's levels to it. That's why forgiveness is not a one-time thing. And kudos to you if it's easy for you to forgive, but life's going to test you. There will be things that are harder to forgive, and you will be tested. So it's not just about the small things, but it's also about the hard things. Same thing applies. Forgiveness. Why? Because it's for you, not for them. It is for you, not for them. Spiritually speaking, we have to forgive because Jesus forgave us first. Mainstreamly speaking, on a secular level, you have to forgive because you don't want to live anxiety ridden. You don't want to live with depression. You don't want to live with hypervigilance. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. So the hard truth about all of it, again, to just bolster it even more, forgiveness is not a feeling. That's another very important thing. People act like forgiveness is a feeling. I don't feel like forgiving you yet. It just still hurts. You have to forgive you right now. Again, you don't have to force yourself necessarily to forgive, but be careful. You don't stay in this stagnant world where you so justified in not forgiving, it kind of becomes your jacket, your cloak, your coat, if you will. You just wear it every time. It's comfy. It feels good. It feels good. He doesn't deserve it. He hurt me real badly. He doesn't deserve it. She's horrible. I can't even, oh gosh, can't even think about her right now. The idea of just forgiving, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to do it. No. It feels good, doesn't it? To be justified. It feels good to be in the right. It feels good when you can just tell somebody off and feel good about it because they are in the wrong. It feels good. All of it. We're human. We're humans. That's how we're wired, right? But forgiveness, again, it isn't a feeling. It might feel like it. You might feel like forgiving somebody. You might feel like not forgiving them. But what forgiveness truly is, it is a decision. It is a choice. It is a choice that you have to make to forgive. It's a choice that you have to make to forgive every day, every 2 weeks, every 2 years, every time that perpetrator's name pops in your head. It is a choice until it is all gone, until you don't feel what you feel about that person or the perpetrator anymore. It's not easy. It is not a feeling. You will not feel ready. If you wait to feel it, it's just not going to come because you're too comfortable in knowing that you're right. So it's not just going to come. It's a decision that you have to make. Be careful. You'll get stuck. You'll get stuck in it because once you feel justified, man, justification, the power of justification. That's another video that I will be making at some point soon in the future. The power of justification. That's something to be very, very careful about. Because once you justify about something, who can get you off that throne of self-justification, or just even, it's not just self-justification. If you've been justified by the whole world, doesn't mean that you need to stay there. And it doesn't mean that it's not dangerous. It has to be balanced. Yes, I'm right. But guess what? It's even better than being justified. Release that burden, freeing yourself, forgiveness. So I think we talked about pretty much all of it. So forgiveness, how important it is on the secular level and on a spiritual level. And I mentioned that on the spiritual level, it's easy and it's hard. I don't know if I elaborated on that. If I did, I apologize. But it's hard to forgive just because, again, I had to make that distinction. I had to separate it so that people don't feel left out. People stop saying that it's a Christian thing, which is why I started off by saying, like, this is not a sermon about forgiveness, but it is something that is not only spiritual, but it's humane. The power of forgiveness, the ability to forgive, the importance to forgive is for everyone. It's not, that's the gap. That's me bridging the gap there. It's not for just Christians. It's not because Jesus forgave us, so now we have to forgive. Of course, that is the fact. That is true. If you're a believer, that's not even a decision. It's not debatable. But even if you don't believe in God, again, I've asked those questions before. Do you want to live with the depression? Do you want to live with the fact that mere naming of someone's name or who they are, what they do, would just send you over the edge like that? You think that's healthy? I don't. I really don't. And I think if you're being honest with yourself, if you really think about it, it's not healthy. Do you like knowing that somebody out there has that much power, influence over your life? And as a Christian, again, just because the Bible tells us to do so, that doesn't make it easy. It's easy in a way that we believe in the Bible and it tells us what to do. We obey. We want to be obedience to God. That's the whole point of it, right? That's the easy part. But achieving it, like the action of forgiving, the decision to forgive, doesn't matter if you're a Christian or if you're not a Christian, it doesn't matter who you are. It's not easy. But it's not about being easy. It's about doing the right thing, right? It's not about easy to talk about sexual abuse, kids being sexually abused, trafficked, and all sorts of horrific things. It's not about easy. It's about raising the awareness. It's about doing the right thing. It's not easy to write this book. It's not easy to talk to people. It's quite frankly, it is very depressing to know that the world can get this dark, right? But it's about doing the right thing. It's not about parenting being easy. It's not about doing your job because it's easy. It's not about just any of it. Easy should not be something that we expect. We should welcome it when it comes. But this world is not an easy world. Life's not easy. Forgiveness isn't easy. But unforgiveness can cause way too much harm. Enough for you to say, I know it's hard to forgive, but it's harder to live with unforgiveness. So therefore, it doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter how difficult it's going to be for me to look at this person in the eye and say, like, I've forgiven you. Or you don't even have to look at him in the eyes. Forgiveness doesn't have to be done in person. Forgiveness doesn't have to be, well, for me to forgive, I have to look at you in the eye and say, like, I've forgiven you. You better feel lucky that I've forgiven you. There you have it. I'm better than you. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. You're not better than them just because you forgive them. Well, you could be in certain ways, but that's not what it's about. Don't get all bugged down. Don't get confused. Don't get lost in the fact that you're going to do it because I'm a Christian and I'm better than you, because I'm this and that. I'm going to take the high road. I'm a bigger man. I'm a bigger woman. Like, no, it's not about that. It's about living a life that is stress-free. It's about living a life without depression, anxiety, being hypervigilant, giving the new people coming in your life that don't deserve for you to make them feel like you're going to do the same thing to me. So I got to keep you at arm's length. You are another man, and this is what this man did to me. Nah, you just another woman. You know how those girls are. They're just going to break your heart and stuff like that. I'm going to treat them just like the last one. Unforgiveness. It's not healthy. You can't form deep friendships. You can't be the type of parent, the type of spouse that you are meant to be if you're living with so much unforgiveness. Unforgiveness, resentment, hatred. It's not healthy. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Forgive as much as you can every day, as many times as possible. Not only Jesus did it for us, so therefore we owe it to one another. But you want to live a life of freedom. It starts with forgiveness. If you got any value out of this video, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. Definitely share it with your friends, especially the ones that don't believe in forgiveness. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to post in the comment section. I look forward to speak with you there. I'm very active there, and I love to communicate and just learn. I'm a learner at heart. I do this not only to raise awareness, but only to talk to you guys and give you a different perspective, give you a different avenue, as opposed to mainstream negativity that's coming from left and right, having to make a decision who you want to follow, left or right, Democrats or Republicans. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all brothers and sisters, whether you want to see it in Christ or not. We're doing this life thing together, right? So the whole point is just try to make this world, the next generation, a better generation by raising awareness for CSA. If you haven't picked up a copy of my book, please do so. It's a self-help book. Whether you have been through it, you know somebody who's been through it, equip yourself to know how to speak with them. Suggest this book. That could be the help that they need. Thank you for watching. I look forward to talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. One love.